I wrote this down in my notes. I almost forgot. So here's what's going on with Devin. I heard through the grapevine. How long will you be mine? You know, I heard it do. All right. So this was going on with Devin Haney. Allegedly, next week we should have. Obviously, we are going to get an answer on what Devin Haney will do. Drop the belt and fight Keyshawn, or drop the belt or go fight Shakur. Now, obviously, Shakur said he agreed to fight Devin in October already. Say he didn't sign nothing, but he agreed to fight Devin. Okay, cool. People behind the scenes said for sure he hasn't signed to fight Devin. So Devin, let me start off. He has a deal from the DAZN to fight Keyshawn Davis. I don't know the exact figures, my nigga. But what I will tell you is that he has a deal to fight Keyshawn. I mean, he has a deal from the DAZN. It's not from Top Rank. The DAZN is dealing with Devin Haney. This money is coming out the DAZN's pocket. And obviously he has a deal from Zuffa that's more lucrative than the deal from the DAZN. Now, I'm assuming that the DAZN deal, and I might edit a clip in there later on. I'm assuming the DAZN deal is for a one-fight deal with Keyshawn. I'm not sure what the Zuffa deal is. If the Zuffa deal is a one-fight deal to fight Shakur Stevenson, I'm not sure. But what I will say is this. If the DAZN deal money is semi-straight and he feel like he can beat Keyshawn, then get the big chicken from the DAZN, from Zuffa, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But if he don't feel like, the money is respectable coming from the DAZN to fight Keyshawn, he got to go to Zuffa and get that chicken. The thing about it is, it's going to look like he ducked Keyshawn if he don't fight Shakur Stevenson next. That's the thing about it. Now they can take a risk and fight Keyshawn and probably get some money out on the back end on the gate, or try to get some money on the back end with the pay-per-view if they put it on pay-per-view, which I assume they will. He can fight Keyshawn. He can fight Keyshawn. If he feel like he really going to whoop Keyshawn, then you back Shakur into a corner at that point. Now the Shakur Stevenson fight even bigger. Now it's even bigger. Now you might can go back to the table and negotiate and get a couple extra M's or get a couple extra concessions, versus that. But if I'm Shakur Stevenson, if he go whoop Keyshawn and it's an entertaining fight or a stock go up in the fight, I don't see Devin Haney doing 144-pound catch weight if he fight Keyshawn next. I don't see that happen. I think the ball's in Devin Haney court at that point. And pretty much that's probably what Shakur want. All right, we've been at 47. We whooped your boy. You got to come to 47. We call the shots. You ain't had no fight as big as the Lomachenko fight. You ain't had no fight as big as this Keyshawn fight. That's what the Keyshawn fight hit. You come up here. Oh, no, I ain't coming up there. I'm sorry. I'm a small guy at 40. I'm really a 35-pounder. Yeah, I'm a Puerto Rican Hector. And it's like, okay, that's what he really want. He don't want to get in the ring with Devin. So in Shakur's favor, they're not going to let Devin get Shakur and Keyshawn back to back. Jay Prince don't want that to happen. Then all he got is Abdullah Mason, but they can bounce back from losing to Devin Haney. They should feel like they should be able to whoop Devin Haney, but as of right now, he got two deals on the table. A less lucrative deal from the DAZN, and then the DAZN is getting involved and putting money up for the fight. They want the fight. They probably like, yo, look here, we can't give you that 12 to 15 or whatever the DAZN, whatever Zuffa offering you, but maybe we can give you X, Y, and Z. But if it's, if the Haneys, right? If the Haneys, they going for the money. They going for the for show money. So I don't know what they doing, but I'm gonna just assume they probably just gonna go ahead, get that money from the DAZN and from Zuffa and fight Shakur in October. Simple as that. Now, strategic move would be to fight Keyshawn, knock Keyshawn off, and then enter that. But it's a risk. You can go over to the DAZN and they can rob you. You can go over to Top Rank and they can rob you. And remember, the DAZN was the same people that did you and Demetrius Andrade dirty. They wasn't trying to put no money up for you and George Kambosos, but they gave, Canelo all that money. You know what I mean? They giving Eddie Hearn $1 billion, but they didn't want to put no money up to bid for that Kambosos fight, and they just said, okay, we don't give a fuck about you. So if you're negotiating with the DAZN, it's kind of really like, yeah, fuck y'all too. But it's the thing, the strategy is he won't get both. And that's my humble. They won't let him get both back to back. If he go in there and he fight Keyshawn and whoop Keyshawn, Shakur is not gonna sign him to fight Zuffa. He'll do the Canelo route. He'll take everybody to court. And he hot. He ain't that type of dude. That's why they pitting it as, oh, if he don't fight Keyshawn, he'll just rather duck Keyshawn than lose to me, and that's what you getting. But at the end of the day, if I don't fight Keyshawn and I get the most money and I whoop your ass, you better than Keyshawn. So more money, higher guy on the pound for pound list, more money. The question is, if you take that Zuffa deal, is Zuffa promising you Shakur Stevenson in October? Is that shit in writing? According to Bill Haney on Twitter a few days ago, while I'm doing this video, July 16th, 2026, a few days ago, he said Shakur Stevenson still had not signed on the dotted line for a 144-pound agreement. So even if he signs that Zuffa deal, it doesn't sound like the Devin Haney fight is in there. That's what they want. And that's what's interesting. If Devin signed the Zuffa and Shakur be like, no, I don't want to fight him, fuck that. Now Devin then dropped his belt. He like a duck versus Keyshawn, and you don't even have Shakur Stevenson to show for it. You don't even have a Shakur Stevenson fight to show for it. But I think that the thing about it is they're not going to let him get both. That's my opinion on it. They're not going to let him get both. So it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, but they got a decision to make. And obviously there's probably some integral things that we don't know. And then behind the scenes, everybody is saying, the people behind the scenes, don't nobody know what they going to do but them. But if I'm following the sequence properly, they go for the money. You got the pound for pound guy, you got the money. Now I don't know, maybe the DAZN might be saying, hey, look, you fight with us, we give you equity in the company. Maybe they might tilt the scale, ownership. Maybe the DAZN is making him some promises. Okay, if you win this, hey, we willing to do this, that, and the third for you. We don't know. It might be some things in there. It's kind of like when you go for a job, everybody just look at the money. Oh, I'm good. And you got benefits. You got some jobs that you ain't got to pay nothing. The benefits don't nothing come out your pocket. So you might have a job for $20 an hour and another job for $23, $24 an hour. But that $23, $24 an hour, if you need benefits, it's like you making $18 an hour. That $20 an hour job, they pay all your benefits and you get bonuses and shit, and there's just certain things that, some people probably wouldn't understand and add up. Everybody wanna opt out of healthcare, and then when they look at the medical bills, they want to holler and scream. When you waiting in the ER room and shit, and they won't see you, but the person walked in 5 hours after you is getting seen first. People don't think about stuff like that. Everybody just looking at the money. They're not looking at the additional benefits. Whether it's a pension or a matching 401k, or you get vested after working there 5 years, you get vested and you get ownership in the company. A lot of those talking points are foreign to people. Everybody just looking at the dollar amount and not even looking at the differences, the differences in the dollar amount. The DAZN could be promising Haney something greater, but it's probably all predicated on whether he beat Keyshawn. You got to ask yourself, they gonna make it right for Keyshawn. No, Keyshawn been quiet. Secretly, they want Devin to drop the belt, and Shakur probably gonna pull a hamstring, pull some bitch shit, and he gonna be without both. He gonna have the money from Zuffa, but he gonna be without both. Because Bill is still saying of a few days ago, he has not signed in a principal agreement to fight Devin at 44. And like I said, if Devin, in my opinion, if Devin fights Keyshawn at 47 and he beats him 47 out the window, Shakur's resume don't stack up to Devin. Whether it's going to Australia twice, whether it's beating Lomachenko, a fight that Shakur couldn't get. Like I said, Shakur should have went up to fight Kambosos. Shakur was bigger than everybody at 26. He was bigger than everybody at 30. He could have easily went up and took that Kambosos fight and went to Australia twice and became undisputed at lightweight. Why not? Well, he wasn't. Shakur was way bigger than Oscar Valdez at 130. way bigger than everybody like Joey Gonzalez wants. He don't want to take no risk, dog. Shakur and Javante is the model of fighters that just want to make all the money and they rob you, sweet talk you while they rob you. I don't want to take no risk, but hey, hit the link in the description. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.